saint. So it's appropriate in a holy place. My impressions are that this is a historic occasion, and that the drug policies that are keeping the medicine of the soul from the people of the world need to be reconsidered and changed so that more people will have access to a spiritual reality. And the people who presented here were by and large extremely intelligent and presented, I think, a very compelling case for the re-examination of entheogens or LSD, and I'm greatly encouraged, and we need to keep thinking about how they can successfully be integrated into society and into the individuals' lives so that we can recover our lost sense of the integration with the web of life. And if we can recover that sense, I think there's a chance for humanity. Otherwise, we seem to be on a very self-destructive course. And it might be that the prescription for the maturing of a species has been discovered over 60 years ago here in Basel by Dr. Hoffman, and we simply need to take our medicine.
I was very impressed with these 3 days. I find the mood quite alive. I find interested people here, people who are just open, an open, good vibe.
It was the greatest congress of all times regarding this matter. It was the most important date in the history of LSD, and it even invited and brought masses of people together from all over the world.
Menschen aus aller Welt sehr viel mehr und mehr zusammengebracht und
And I even have goosebumps just from speaking about this. And it was much, much more than just wonderful.
wunderbar.
Very, very valuable for what they try to do, promotion and information mainly, and minimize the damage, and celebrate, of course, Mr. Hoffman, which is 100 years, and there should be many Mr. Hoffmans celebrated around the world, and we have informations, and we can really maximize the fun in taking drugs, and which is fun, basically, and research for yourself.
It was great to see Albert. He's a class act all around, and it's inspiring to meet old people that you could feel comfortable being a little bit like when you get older yourself, because most old people are really fucking boring, you know. So it was great to see such a wise, beautiful old guy. And as a guy that's aging, it's really nice to see that there is hope for us somewhere down the track. It's great to see all these people here. What amazes me most of all is to think that you could see most of these people on a bus or a train, and you'd never ever think that they were trippers. Or I wouldn't, perhaps because of my own cultural baggage or whatever, I'd never really assumed that half the people here are trippers. Perhaps half of them aren't. I don't know. Final comment would be that still seems to be a bit of the old academia versus freak kind of schism happening, and that there are definite people here that that think they're going to somehow manage to interface with various government bodies and get sane drug policy through, and I don't think that's going to happen in a hurry, really. And those sane people tend to think that people like myself are a lot of the problem, you know, and, you know, fuck.
As I hear the announcement that various lost items are looking for owners, now this is great, because I think the longer the Congress was going on, the less people cared about the feeling of connectedness to an intellectual or personal group, so more people lost objects. They can be intellectual or material. Some lost their glasses case, another may have lost a consciousness insufficiency, and I'm sure that this is balanced out with a very high gain on another level. Who knows, in my speech, I oriented everybody towards celebrating Hoffmann's 200th birthday in a thermal church filled with water, and otherwise my opinion of the conference is that it is an island of psychedelic consideration in the midst of a great ocean of ignorance and unawareness and misunderstandings, and healing through consideration of the island of consideration that they enlarge. And I think this impulse is here within a hand's reach, and all of those here may possibly be strengthened in their psychedelic consideration. I think the emphasis is on considerateness. It really is a quality which enormously has to do with the fact that the eldest of the tribe, Albert Hoffmann, depicts the incarnation of a psychedelic, awake, emotional Western consideration, and that those who gathered here to celebrate him would do well if they would recognize and appreciate this as a guideline. But I think this is exactly what has happened here.
Und das ist der Spirit von Basel, the oneness in our spirit. And that's together with a lot of respect and love.
Die Eindrücke sind unbeschreiblich und
Well, the impressions are indescribable, and ultimately as manifold as the phenomena and the aspects of LSD, about which we and more than 80 referents were informing, reporting, and discussing here in the past 3 days. Huge resonance, more audience or participants than we ever expected. More than 1,500 and more than 200 people from the media were here. And all in all, there were about 2,000 people here during the 2 or 3 days. And actually, everybody is altogether satisfied and happy. And it was a very, very amazing event.
Ganz tolle Veranstaltung.
The personal thing about it was to be able to give Albert Hoffmann this gift on his 100th birthday. The gift of attempting, and I believe it worked out for us, that his problem child, not to necessarily give it an immediate status of a wonder drug, but to make the effort and also call to the media to think about what LSD truly is. We really documented and informed about this extensively, and I think that there is a complete and reasonable rehabilitation that LSD, and mostly what it has been affecting, can take the place in the world that it deserves.
Eine fähige und sinnvolle Rehabilitation, damit LSD und vor allem, was es bewirkt hat, wieder eigentlich dem ihm gebührenden Platz in der Welt einnehmen kann.
And finally, here I quote Ralph Metzner, "It is all about living towards a better world."
This conference can start maybe a follow-up conference, maybe conferences in other countries. The more people who hear what you folks have been hearing this weekend, which has been good, solid information and really well-informed opinion, will start to think anew, as our famous President Abraham Lincoln said, think anew and act anew. And you don't have to take drugs to do this. You can get this through listening, through reading, through dialogue, and so I think that this conference can be a catalyst to something bigger and better if we don't let things stop.
Omens for our planetary future. For 100 years now, wise teachers and elders have urged we must bring together the spirituality of the East with the energy and material mastery of the West. The Tibetan oracle said, "When the iron horse flies, the Dharma will come to the land of the red man." This prophecy has come to pass. And behold, a new vision arises for a new century. The people of the northern nations will relate with respect and justice, not violence and greed, to the uncounted millions of the southern countries and the land and the forest and the riches of the earth. The prophet seers of the Incas say, "The condor of the south and the eagle of the north will fly together in freedom. The visionary serpent vine says, the bear and the wolf of the north, and the jaguar and the lion of the south will track together and hunt together for vibrant life and healing knowledge. The great serpent of the Amazon forest, the wise turtle of the California desert, will share their ancient secrets again with humans humble enough to want to learn, to live in balance with one another and with the earth, the great goddess mother of all the living, embracing and nourishing all her children. Thank you very much.